Hey everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter. Thanks for joining me today. Today I have a fun Halloween themed interactive floating element card, and I'm featuring the brand new stamps from scrapbook.com. Actually just one of the stamp sets, but this is one of many new stamp sets that they have out this month. And this one is called the Fall Sampler, and it has some really fun fall greetings in some really great typography that I really like. And I'm going to be using this Eat, Drink, and Be Scary combined with this die from Hero Arts, which is the Spiderweb Fancy die. Now, my friend Heather Meeson had used this particular die with her Gemini foil press, and I wanted to try it as well. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of foiling with this die. I've gone ahead and turned on my foil press to let it heat up, and when it's ready, that light that you're barely seeing on this top of the screen will turn green. It is red right now. And then I'm going to hold my die in place with some Thermoweb purple tape, and I'm going to cut a piece of this disco ball foil from Crafter's Companion, and I'm going to place it underneath my die with the pretty side up. So the blades of the die are facing the foil and the paper, and I have the pretty side of the foil face up where I can see it. Now I'm going to put this onto the platform, and I'm going to set my timer for 10 seconds. And I am going to let the timer run down. And once that timer has ran out, I'm going to pull this platform directly out from the base and run it through my Gemini Junior cutting machine. This is going to apply heat and pressure to the die and cause that transfer foil to press into the cardstock. And when I remove the die, I have this really beautiful holographic spider web design pressed into my cardstock with that foil in it. Now I'm going to be using this paper collection here. This is from American Crafts and Amy Tangerine. It's called the Slice of Life collection, and it is a 6x8 paper pad. And I'm going to be using the Banners Nested Shapes from scrapbook.com. These are a scrapbook.com exclusive die set. And I'm going to die cut some of these pattern papers. I'm actually going to cut 2 pieces at one time. So I'm putting that into my die cutting sandwich using my standard die cutting sandwich here and running it through my Gemini Junior. Now I'm going to take that exact same die and I'm going to die cut it from some Nina Solar White cardstock as well. And I'm going to be stamping my sentiment onto this cardstock. So I have the sentiment from the Fall Sampler, and I'm inking up just the top portion of the sentiment. And I'll stamp that onto my banner and then clean my stamp. And then I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to ink just the bottom portion of this sentiment with some Guacamole ink from scrapbook.com and stamp it in the same place that I stamped the black stamping before. So now I have a two-toned sentiment, and it is ready to go on the front of my card right after I add a little strip of pattern paper to the top of it. Now, once I got my banner grouping kind of put together here, I decided I really wasn't liking the dark background for this cardstock. So I decided to go ahead and do my foiling process over again, but this time I'm going to be using white cardstock, and I'm going to show you a different way. I am laying the die with the blade side up onto my platform, and then I am cutting my disco ball foil. Now, the order in which I'm laying things down onto the platform is exactly the same. I'm just building this up on the platform instead of on the cardstock itself. So I have my die blade side up. I have my foil, this time with the pretty side facing the blades. It's always going to face the part that's pressing into the paper. And then I laid my cardstock on top of that, and I added my plate that comes with the foil press, and I started my 10-second timer. Now, sometimes it's helpful to think about the foil in that you want the blade or the stamp plate that you're using with these foil press machines. You want that part to always be touching the pretty side of the foil, and you want the kind of dull side of the foil facing the cardstocks. So now that I have my background sorted out, I'm going to use the nesting oval dies from scrapbook.com, and I'm going to cut a small oval out of my background paper here. And then I'm going to use a larger circle and die cut that from some plain white cardstock. And that's going to help me create my floating element on this card. So I am first going to start out by placing this circle behind my oval. You'll probably want to use a little bit larger circle than this. I did end up having to go back and change this out to a larger circle, so maybe one size up from this. And I'm going to add some circular foam adhesive from scrapbook.com onto my circle and then place my element right onto that foam adhesive. And this is going to allow the piece to kind of wiggle around within that oval. But I was finding with that round adhesive, it was allowing this banner grouping to turn upside down. And I didn't want that because that just doesn't make sense to me. So instead, I grabbed the square foam adhesive from scrapbook.com and I created a line out of that, and it's a double layer of foam adhesive. And I took my powder tool and kind of dabbed the edges of that foam adhesive to take away any stick that was on the edge. And now you can see that I have this floating piece on my card, and it's kind of moving around in this really spooky way. And since I created that line of adhesive, it is no longer flipping upside down, which much better. Although I guess if it's haunted, it could totally be upside down. So now that my floating element is ready to go, I'm going to heat emboss in some white embossing powder this Hope Your Day is Beautiful sentiment, which is also from the Fall Stampler stamp set from scrapbook.com. And I'm going to adhere it on top of that grouping using a little bit of the foam adhesive. Now, I thought it would be fun to use some of these Hero Hues enamel dots on this project, and I'm going to create some eyeballs out of them. So I'm taking the large white enamel dots from this set. This is the neutral set, and I'm placing them kind of close together. And then I'm taking a permanent marker and just drawing the black part of the eyeball right on there. And I'll use some more of the black and white enamel dots from this collection to kind of decorate my card. Now, since this is moving around like it's haunted, I decided to go ahead and create a little ghost to peek out from behind that banner grouping. So I'm just using some vellum and scissors to create a little ghost image. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be hidden a lot behind that banner grouping. And then once I get it attached to the back side of the banner grouping, I'm going to add some more DIY eyeballs using those Hero Arts enamel dots. Now I flipped this card over to the back and I'm using some strong scrapbook.com adhesive to adhere a penny onto that circle. That penny is going to give this grouping a little bit of weight and help it to kind of move around on the card a little bit better. And then I can add my foam adhesive to the back side of my card front. And I am just allowing a little bit of space between the edge of that circle and my foam adhesive so that it doesn't impede the movement of my floating element. Then I can take this entire thing and adhere it onto a top folding Neenah Solar White card base. And that completes my really spooky floating element card. I guess it's not really that spooky, but it's super adorable. Now, you may or may not have noticed that I went ahead and took this banner grouping off and I used my Stitch Happy sewing machine from We Are Memory Keepers to add a little line of gold stitching along the top of that. I just thought it was a great way to add a little more shine to this card and kind of finish that grouping off with a handmade touch. So there you have it, a fun floating element spooky card featuring some brand new stamps from scrapbook.com. As always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube, but head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Over there you'll find more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies. And I'll also be sharing a sneak peek of a project that I am sharing over on the scrapbook.com YouTube channel today in celebration of World Card Making Day, so you don't want to miss that. As always, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I'm so glad you're here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of my card making and paper crafting video tutorials here. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.